Hey y'all, Ben here. Today's fun because I get to talk a little bit about myself in the third person, but in case I slip into first person, just know that the tournament director I'm talking about is me. Also, today's video is sponsored by my own Ko-fi page, but more on that later. On August 20th, there was a Roundnet tournament held in Washington, D.C. It featured 52 teams, but we're going to zoom in on the 32-team open division for 4.5 to 5.0. So for this group, as far as stakes go, 24 of those teams were vying for qualification to play in Spikeball Tour Series Premier Division, aka trying to get Premier. And all of them were playing for East Roundnet Series points, and if that wasn't enough, individual player rankings for US Roundnet were also on the line. This tournament was run by Ben Dantwitz, that's me, as part of Greater Washington Roundnet's local tournament events. So, going into the tournament, the director had a lot of information about the skill levels of most players in attendance, and for any gaps, they consulted some knowledgeable players in the community, some playing and some non-playing to minimize biases, and from there, developed a list of pre-seeded teams before putting them into a bunch of different pools. Because of some of the stakes that I mentioned at the top, the tournament director wanted to avoid, if at all possible, forcing teams to have a rematch from pool play during the round of 32 or the round of 16 for two reasons: competition and fun. On competition, basically, having more teams play unique opponents throughout the day gives the best chance of the true top teams advancing, whether it's for series points or rankings or for premier status. It's important to make sure a wide range of teams have multiple paths to get to the top of the bracket. Second reason is fun, and in Roundnet, it's usually more fun to play more teams. I know that's a little biased speaking from personal experience. If you only like playing with just the same three people, I really hope to try playing with some more people sometime. So figuring out how to do this is maybe even taboo, but don't flip out just yet, and I can explain what the TD's approach was. Basically, changing a seed by 1 or 2 spots is probably worth it if we can prevent a pool play rematch, even if it means a team is being seeded slightly below another team with a worse point differential. Before we see how this actually plays out in practice, here's a quick word from my sponsor, me. Hey, I hope you're enjoying today's content. I make all sorts of independent Roundnet content, and it's powered by people like you. So, if you like supporting independent Roundnet content, pushing the sport forward, I'd love to invite you to check out my Ko-fi page, where I can accept support from individuals and offer some perks back to the community. You can read about all those perk opportunities in my Ko-fi profile. Big shout out to everyone who's already supported me in the past, and I thank you in advance for considering supporting me in the future. Okay, back to the bracket breakdown. So the tournament director is looking to change some of the seeds if it means they can prevent pool play rematches in the round of 32 and the round of 16. Now, the round of 16 first actually just happened to have no rematches slated. Jumping into the round of 32, there were actually 5 different matchups where the seeds were going to be playing a rematch from pool play if the seeds were left alone and just put straight into the bracket. So those rematches from pool play were between the 2 and 31 seed, the 5 and 28 seed, the 9 and 24 seed, the 12 and 21 seed, and the 14 and the 19 seed. So, what the tournament director worked on was a way to move teams around just slightly so that they had the same record as teams they were moving around with, but it meant that they didn't have to play a rematch with the teams that they played earlier in the day through pool play. So, ultimately, what that resulted in is swapping the 19 and 20 seeds, the 21 and 22 seeds, the 24 and 25 seeds, the 28 and 29 seeds, and the 31 and 32 seeds. So on paper, not too many big moves, and ultimately, 0 of these teams that had their seeds adjusted ended up winning the round of 32 match, but all of them got to play a new opponent that they hadn't already played early in the day. The process used for this is pretty fun, and built a way to automate this so that there's no room for human error when you have bigger and bigger tournaments, but we'll talk about that another time. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and yeah, stay tuned for more Roundnet-centric content. Thanks again to everybody supporting my Ko-fi page, and again, thanks to my Ko-fi page for sponsoring this video. Take care.